Hi everyone, my name is Sanjay and today I am going to show you how we can solve a quadratic equation by factor. So first of all, I'll show you what is a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is of this form: ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b and c are constants and x is a variable. Here necessary condition for this equation is that a should not be equal to 0. Now by factor b means that we will have two factor of this equation and we will equate each factor to 0 and then we can find out the value of the x. So let us see the general form of factor. Here, this standard equation, we will split this standard equation into two factor: x plus b1, x plus b2 is equal to 0. Here, as I already told you, we can solve this equation by equating each factor to 0, right? But before that, we have to find the value of b1 and b2. The next thing is that the value of b1 and b2 should be such that it has to satisfy two conditions. The first condition is that b1 plus b2 should be equal to b. It means that the addition of these two, b1 and b2, it should be equal to the coefficient of x. The next condition is that the multiplication of b1 and b2 should be equal to the multiplication of a and c, where a and c are the coefficient of x square and the constant. Now this is a general formula for factor. Now we will take two simple examples. First example will be a simpler one where we will use a trick to solve the quadratic equation by factor. The next one will be a more difficult example. There we will use a more advanced trick which is called as magic X. This is a very powerful technique of solving the quadratic equation by factor. Now this is a very simple example, and we will solve this example by using the conventional method, right? Here we have equation x square minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Now what I will do is I will make the factor of this equation which will look like this, right? So here my task is to find out the value of the b1 which I will put here, and I will find out the value of the b2 which I will put here, and those b1 b2 must satisfy the condition that the addition of b1 plus b2 will be equal to minus 3, because here the value of b is minus 3, and the multiplication of b1 and b2 will be minus 4, because a is 1, c is minus 4, so 1 into minus 4 is equal to minus 4. So as I already told you that the multiplication of both the numbers should be equal to minus 4, because here c is minus 4, a is 1. So we will make a list of the pair of the numbers whose multiplication is minus 4. So the first pair can be minus 4 and 1, the second can be 4 minus 1, the third can be minus 2 2, and fourth one can be 2 minus 2. I think that's it. These are the all pairs whose multiplication is equal to minus 4. Next thing is that the addition of those two numbers should be equal to minus 3, right? So we will start taking the pair one by one. I will start from this pair. You can start from this pair also, it is only a matter of choice, right? So I am starting from this pair just to explain this example more elaborately. Now when I will add these two numbers, they will become 0. So this is not my pair, I will straight away reject it. The addition of these two pair is again 0, so this is also not my number, I will again reject it. Addition of these two number is equal to 3, but actually I need minus 3, so again this is not my pair, I will reject it. Now I am left with the third pair. Here the addition of these two number is minus 3, so this is a pair which is satisfying the essential condition for factor, that the multiplication should be minus 4 and addition has to be minus 3, right? So now this is my value of b1, this is my value of b2. I can take it other way also. This you can take this as b2 and you can take this as b1. So that will not make any difference. So I will put the value of b1 and b2 in my equation. So here x plus b1 means minus 4 because the value of b1 is minus 4 into x plus b2 because the value of b2 is plus 1 is equal to 0. Now I will equate x plus 1 equal to 0 because to satisfy this equation one of them has to be equal to 0 or both of them has to be equal to 0. So to find out the solution of this quadratic equation, I will equate x plus 1 is equal to 0 or x minus 4 is equal to 0. I will subtract 1 from both sides of this equation. So x plus 1 minus 1 is equal to x, 0 minus 1 is equal to minus 1. And I will add 4 on both sides of this equation. So x minus 4 plus 4 is equal to x and 0 plus 4 is equal to 4. Hence this is the solution of this quadratic equation. So x is equal to minus 1 or x is equal to 4. These are the two values of x which will satisfy this equation, right? So this was a very simple example. Now we will take a little bit more complicated example where you will learn the magic x, which is a very powerful trick. Now let us do that. Here we will take a little bit more complex example where 5x square minus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation. Again I will split this equation into two factor, but this time I will use a different technique. This technique is a powerful technique and it can be used to any quadratic equation, right? So this will give you a very short answer. So I am going to split this equation into two factor. Okay, now what are those factor that I will find by using magic x technique, or simply it is sometimes called as x technique. So what I will do is I will draw a cross, or we will call it as a x. That's why this technique is called as a magic x technique. Now on the upper part I will write it as a minus 10. Why minus 10? Here I will write a into c. If you remember from the first example that our solution should satisfy a condition that the value of b1 and b2 should be equal to multiplication of a and c. So I have multiplied a and c and I have kept its value here. Then the next condition is that the addition of the b1 and b2 should be equal to minus 3. So I will put minus 3 here, or simply it is the coefficient of x. If it is easy to remember, I will simply write the coefficient of x here, right? So I will just repeat it. Here I will write the multiplication of c and a, and here I will write the coefficient of x means b. So this is minus 10, this is minus 3. Now as we have done in earlier example, I will make the list of two numbers whose multiplication is equal to a into c, means minus 10, right? Minus 10. So which can be those list? Minus 10 and 10. If I will multiply minus 10 and 1, it will be equal to minus 10. If I can take another way, 10 and minus 1, again their multiplication will be minus 10. I can take 5 and minus 2 and minus 5 and 2 also, because the multiplication of 5 and minus 2 is minus 10 and minus 5 and 2 is also minus 10. I think this is it. This is the only four pair whose multiplication will be equal to minus 10. The next thing is same as the earlier example. The addition of both two numbers should be equal to minus 3. Okay, because addition of both the number has to be equal to the coefficient of x. Okay, now we will take one by one. Here, if I'll add those two numbers, it will add up to minus 9. So this is not my pair. I will reject it. I will take the next pair. 10 minus 1 is 9. So this is again not equal to minus 3. So I will again reject it. I will take next number. 5 minus 2 is plus 3. But actually I need minus 3. So I will also reject it. Now I am left with only this pair, minus 5 and 2. If I will add this, it will give me minus 3. Good. So now I have got the two numbers which I was looking for. So what I will do is, I will write one of the number here, another number I will write here. So this is my solution. Now I will write 2 here and minus 5 here. I can do it in another way also. I can write this minus 5 here and do this 2 here. It will not make any difference. Alright. So I have simply written these two numbers here and here. Now what I will do is, I will divide both this number and this number by the coefficient of x square. Okay. So what I have done is, I have divided both the number by the coefficient of x square. From here onwards, actually you can do this problem in two ways. So you can choose any method which you like. So I will explain you both the methods. I will first explain you the first method. Okay, then I will go to the second method. Right. Now I will simplify these two numbers. I have again written this minus 10 here and this minus 3 here, and 2 upon 5 is 2 upon 5 because I cannot simplify it, and minus 5 upon 5 I can write it as minus 1 upon 1. Right. So from here I will explain first method, and then I will explain second method. This is up to you which method you like the most. Right. So the first method of solving this equation is, what I will do is, here I will write x, okay, and its coefficient is the denominator of this. You got it? Okay, I'll again explain. Here I will write x, and the coefficient of this x, this 5, will be this 5, right, and plus 2 will be the numerator of this expression. In a similar way, here I will write x, and the coefficient of this x will be okay. So is it clear that the coefficient of this x is the denominator of this expression and minus numerator of this? Okay. So this is one way. Okay. Now to solve this quadratic equation, I have to put both this factor and this factor equal to 0. So 5x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 1 is equal to 0, because 1x is equal to x. Now I will subtract 2 from both sides of this equation. It will come out to be 5x and minus 2. 5x is equal to minus 2. I will add 1 from both sides of this expression, so the x will be equal to 1. Now here I will divide 5 from both sides of this equation, so here the x will be equal to minus 2 upon 5, and from here x is equal to 1. So x is equal to minus 2 upon 5 or x is equal to 1 is the solution of this equation. So this is one method. Another method I will explain you is up to this the method is same. Here what I will do is I will simply write x plus this full term. Okay, in another factor I will write x minus this full term. Now to solve this quadratic equation, what I have to do is I have to make both of these factor is equal to 0. So either x plus 2 upon 5 is equal to 0 or x minus 1 is equal to 0, because minus 1 upon 1 is equal to 1, right? So I will subtract 2 upon 5 from both sides of this equation. So from here x will be equal to minus 2 upon 5 and I will add 1 on the both sides of this equation. So x value is equal to 1. So this is another way of solving this. Now this was the magic x trick, and you can use this trick in any of quadratic equation, and if it has the real roots, then you can solve this equation very easily, right? Now we will take another example to solve the quadratic equation by factor. Now what we can see that we have an equation 10x square minus 6x minus 4 is equal to 0. From this equation you can see very easily that you can take 2 common. So 2 is equal to 5x square minus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now this equation, this is the earlier equation which we have solved. So in this way you will see that in quadratic equation you will find the equations in many forms, but ultimately you have to find out this kind of expression. From here, as I have earlier told you, you can make the factor of this equation which is inside 5x plus 2 and x minus 1 equal to 0, because 2 cannot be equal to 0. So 5x plus 2 is equal to 0 is the solution of equation, or x minus 1 equal to 0 is the solution of equation. Here I will subtract 2 from both sides, so I will get 5x is equal to minus 2. Here I will add 1 on both sides, so x is equal to 1 is the solution of this equation. Now here I will divide both of these side by 5, so I will get x is equal to, this is minus 2 upon 5, this is a little mistake, yeah, so I have corrected this mistake. So here x is equal to minus 2 upon 5 or x is equal to minus 1 is the solution of this equation. So thank you for watching this video. You can subscribe more video to have more tricks on mathematics. So I am going to upload those videos very soon. So please subscribe in the link which is given just below this video. Thank you very much for watching.